Have you ever imagined a wrestler who was a mixture of a superhero and a stormtrooper? Well, I have, so let me tell you the story of the ShockMaster. Fred Ottman is a professional wrestler who had many names during his career. He wrestled from 1984 to 2009. From 1984 to 1988, Fred trained under Boris Malenko. In 1985, he got his start in wrestling under the name Siegfried the Giant for championship wrestling from Georgia. He later wrestled for Texas All-Star Wrestling and Continental Wrestling Association as the name Big Bubba. In 1988 and 89, he wrestled for Championship Wrestling from Florida, but he turned into a heel character called Big Steel Man, managed by Diamond Dallas Page. He feuded with Dusty Rhodes and others, but managed to defeat Dusty Rhodes for the NWA Florida Heavyweight Championship in May of 1989. In June of 1989, Fred signed with the World Wrestling Federation. He came in as Big Steel Man and was managed by Slick. At first, he was only having dark matches against people like Paul Roma, Boris Zukov, and Mr. Perfect. In September, he changed his name to Tugboat Tyler, then Tugboat Thomas, and was a real fan favorite at the house shows. During that time, he had matches against Barry Horowitz, Brooklyn Brawler, Boris Zukov, and Iron Mike Sharp. Once again, his name was changed, this time to just Tugboat. From 1990 to 1993, this was probably the best run of his career. He was able to team up with Hulk Hogan, Big Boss Man, and Hacksaw Jim Duggan to face Earthquake, Dino Bravo, Haku, and the Barbarian in his pay-per-view debut at Survivor Series. In later 1990, he even got to have matches with people like Undertaker and even an Intercontinental Championship match against Mr. Perfect. In May of 1991, Fred turned heel again and changed his name to Typhoon, this time teaming with Earthquake, turning into the team of Natural Disasters. They got to face teams like Money Incorporated, the Bushwhackers, and the Nasty Boys. This tag team lasted less than 7 months, but they got to win the tag team championships. Halfway through 1992, Fred was mostly used in house shows before he left the company. From 1993 to 94, Fred found his way to World Championship Wrestling. He managed to get himself in the middle of probably the most infamous moments in wrestling history. His debut was being the mystery partner to Sting, Dusty Rhodes, and Davey Boy Smith in the upcoming 8-man War Games match against Sid Vicious, Big Van Vader, Kane, and Cole at Fall Brawl. His introduction was supposed to be a surprise and epic, but it truly wasn't. He was supposed to bust through a wall and join his team. His attire was probably the worst thing I've ever seen. His stormtrooper helmet painted purple, then covered with glitter. He has a pair of regular jeans on and a black puffy vest. Sting announced him as the ShockMaster. The pyro hit and he broke through the wall, but he tripped and fell. His helmet fell off and he rushed to grab it and stood up like nothing happened. From that point, his character was seen as a joke by fans, not including someone else making a creepy voice that was not timed properly with his motions. For the next year, WCW tried to continue with the character and even changed his name to Super ShockMaster, but sadly, nothing worked. In 1994, Fred returned to the World Wrestling Federation, but was only there for 3 months, just to partake in some house shows. From 1994 to 2001, Fred went on the independent circuit wrestling under the name Typhoon and Tugboat, but then retired for the first time in 2001. In 2009, Fred returned to wrestle as Tugboat at the DWA 10-year event in Germany. In November, he wrestled again for ECPW in New York and beat Jason Static. Soon after, he then retired for good this time. Whatever you would like to call him, Typhoon, Tugboat, or the ShockMaster, he had a great career and got to be involved in some of the best rivalries of the late 80s, early 90s. His ShockMaster character did not work out, but he will always be known as the guy who fell through some sheetrock and lost his helmet. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe for more videos like this and check out the other videos I've made. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
The ShockMaster! All right! The ShockMaster!
I told you. Oh, God.